Hey, this is Rachel Friedman, and you are listening to The Wellness Boss. Look, the entry bar in the coaching industry is really low. So to compete in the coaching industry, you have to be really fucking good at your craft. That's why every week I will be sharing my tips, tools, and stories to help you become the best coach possible for your clients. Truthfully, guys, let's be real. This is the backbone of your business, and it's what's going to make you a sought-after coach with a thriving business. So let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Wellness Boss. I am so excited today. I have two guests on the podcast. This is the first time two amazing, courageous women that are going to share a little bit about their story in getting started as a coach. They are, in my mind, brilliant. They are just such examples of what's possible. And I wanted everyone to get a little taste of what it's like, what it was like for them to literally take this leap of faith and jump in to something that was in their heart and soul that was kind of pulling at them. And both of these women are in my program right now. So I feel so honored that I get to be in their corner and I get to be a part of this journey with them. So I think I say every week though, actually, that I'm excited when I have a guest, but no, I really am, guys. So without due respect, I am actually going to allow each of them to introduce themselves because I think they are going to do a way better job than I could ever telling you about themselves, who they are, what they're doing, and what they're up to right now. So Amy, you're unmuted right now. So I will let you go first. Go ahead and take the floor.
Thanks, Rachel. I am so excited to be here and thanks for having me on it. I am a realtor right now and also a life coach. And I really just started the life coaching within the last couple of months. And I have a friend who is a life coach who has been talking to me about it, and I just really started feeling like this is my jam. This is something that I would really, really love. And I just dove into it. So she hooked me up with your amazing certification class, and I've just gone in with trying to do it without any fear or anything holding me back, and it has been amazing.
So Amy, tell them and I know you have, so I already know the answer to this, but who is right now the woman or man that if we call it your ideal client, who is it that you want to help? Or I should take that back, are helping, because I want you all to hear this. Amy just started a couple of months ago and she is already coaching people.
Yes, which is amazing. So yes. So my ideal client is someone who is asking themselves, what's next? What am I going to do with my life? It could be something as simple as I want to become an organized person. I want to live an organized life. I want to start a new career. I want to enjoy life. I want to start having more fun. What I want to. That's the thing. I'm blessed because I have reinvented myself a couple of times throughout my life, and I'm doing it right now. So it's something that I'm really, really passionate about. You can do anything, be anybody, whenever you want. You just need to jump in and do it. So that's my jam.
So good. Next? And I always say we go first, and you 100% have gone first. And it's just incredible. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So Eden, tell us a little bit about you and what you're up to.
Sure thing. So my name is Eden. I am a former social worker that stepped into a little less burnouty role, working in some community management and doing accountability coaching for therapists. And then I kind of decided that accountability coaching isn't really my jam. I've been leaning into a lot of some inner work surrounding the loss of my mother almost 2 years ago. And I kind of learned through that process that I really, really want to help women who are grieving. So I've started to step into that role of grief coach. And I'm kind of figuring out the pieces right now, but being part of this program has helped with me figuring out those pieces for my own personal thing with the grief, but also how to really kind of lean into some more transformation for the clients that I serve through my work as an accountability coach, which has been amazing. And in terms of who I want to work with, right now it's still kind of in the works, but I want to work with women who have lost a loved one. I'm playing around with women who have lost a parent or a mother, and we're going to kind of go from there.
Oh, so needed, right? I mean, unfortunately, it is reality, right? It is circle of life, right? We all at some point hate to say those words out loud, but we're going to be there. So, so needed. And again, an example of someone who went first, right? And it's interesting because I think sometimes people get into this and they really struggle with figuring out who it is they want to work with. And if you just let yourself be that guide, it doesn't have to be so confusing, complicated. It's actually quite simple. So, ladies, and I'm not going to like necessarily, you guys can just kind of speak up, I was thinking, but so what was your biggest fear in getting started as a coach? And just one of you start talking.
I'll talk. This is Amy. For me, it was just feeling, do I know enough? Working with someone is a big responsibility because I come from a place where I'm doing this because I feel how important it is to support other women in their growth and in their next thing. And for me, it was just, am I knowledgeable enough in the coaching process? And then making sure that I'm practicing it enough and continuing to do it so that I am a value to them. I mean, it's all about being a value to my clients. It's not really, and it's not about me. So, and that was the hardest thing for me, is that I always thought that if I had to go backwards, I would become a psychiatrist or I would be a therapist. And I always have advice and knowledge and things that, like, here's this podcast to listen to or whatever. But I've realized that the coaching is not about that. It has nothing to do with me or my advice or my opinions. It's about whoever I'm coaching, which is so amazing.
Oh my God, so good. I want you to say that again. It has nothing to do with me, because I think it is a little bit of a misconception that a lot of people think, well, I have to be able to give tons of advice, or I have to have a lot of this or that. And true coaching isn't that. That's really the difference. It's interesting. We were talking about this in a group I'm part of, the difference between coaching and consulting. And that's really being a consultant when you're giving a lot of advice. As a coach, we're helping our client tap into their wisdom.
And the humbling thing about it is you start to understand that maybe what you would have in the past thought was something that was good for someone has anything to do with them.
Right?
And so, the ability to listen and hold that space and help them explore themselves has just been like something so beautiful to understand.
Oh, I love that so much. Eden, what about for you? What was like getting started, like the biggest fear for you?
I think my biggest fear was that it was just going to be another failed venture, right? I had done so many
Mm.
different things before, from, in high school, went to cosmetology school, in college wanted to be a social worker, went into different fields of social work and just never really landed. So it was like, okay, is this just a shiny object that I'm, fixated on with the coaching, or is this something that I can actually show up for and that I won't quit and that's going to be in alignment? Because I was kind of stuck in that headspace of there's just no possible way that I could do this thing, right? Like, just couldn't do it. But I've been excited to kind of see that when I'm able to really tap into that passion and that joy, that it is giving me a little bit more of that momentum and confidence to stick with it, to continue showing up for my business and myself.
Oh my God, Eden, I want everyone to hear that because I definitely know that you are not the only one. I hear this all the time. I think my own brain said those exact same things. Is this just going to be another thing like you? I used to say that I was a serial entrepreneur because like literally like every no, I guess maybe 6 years. I was like 7 years. I was like on to the next thing. And I think that when it is something you're passionate about and you're willing to do that inner work and get over your own bullshit, that's when you're able to finally, like, I say, because I don't want to call it stick with it, because like Amy said, like, I think it's okay to reinvent ourselves. Like, this might be something you do for 6, 7, 10 years, and then you're like, oh, now I want to do this. And that's not a problem. But as long as we're not quitting on ourselves because we felt like, we weren't capable, or because like, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? But like we're switching or shifting just because something, maybe we did it and we feel fulfilled from it and it's led us in another direction. Yeah.
Can I add something to that too? Is
Yes.
that so I choose for myself to look at anything that I've done because I could, I was an inventor, I was an entrepreneur, I worked 10,000 different jobs and have evolved over the years, but every single thing that I did or changed or had is who I am. Like that's how I learned whatever lesson I needed to learn to be here right now, today and tomorrow and in the future. So I say, like, embrace who you were and who you are and who you're going to become. And, just let that energy be like, wow, thank you so much for that shitty job I
Yes.
had,
Oh my
because,
God.
that taught
100.
me so much.
Yes. 110%. I say that all the time. Like Eden, I went into social work, and then the social work, I did that as a therapist for a little bit, which led me, a lot of people don't even know, to being a personal trainer for like 8 years, but all these things, like you just said, literally have impacted why I think I am where I am right now and what's made me really good at it. Like if I hadn't experienced all those things, I don't know if I can't say I would be where I am right now, just like you, Amy, just like you, Eden. So I love that. Yes. Everything. One of my favorite things I write down with my self-coaching things I want to think is everything is working for me, including, right, Eden, like cosmetology school and absolutely your social work degree. Holy shit, is so helpful as you're coaching, right? And Amy, like people might be like, well, how is like, being a real estate agent? 100%. It's relationships. Like everything is interconnected. So like if you're listening right now and thinking, well, I'm an engineer, how is that going to help? I can guarantee we can find a path of how it does connect. Yeah, I love that. So ladies, what has surprised you the most?
That I'm a better coach than I thought I was, right?
Love
That
that, Eden. You are
there's
such a badass coach.
kind of like being stuck in that belief of like feeling a little shaky with the coaching because I was doing it for work. And there was always those things that like, you're like, oh my God, I completely messed up that session. I'm hung up on the fact that there was this awkward silence, or maybe it like sounded weird. And then I started really kind of leaning in and watching some of my coaching sessions and kind of reflecting, and like the
So
things that I
good.
thought were big little blow ups were actually like 3 seconds of silence,
Right.
and the rest of it is just my own head trash. So being able to just lean into some of the outcomes too of the clients that I work with for work, and seeing that even though I might not feel like I got all my shit together, I'm showing up and I'm helping people transform. So I'm doing the thing. I'm better than I thought I
Like,
was.
Eden, I'm curious, what do you think helped you shift to see that you're better than you thought you were?
What shifted?
That was not one of our questions I gave her in advance.
Yeah. I think honestly, it's being part of this container and being able to kind of embody a little bit of that confidence with everybody else, and knowing that coaching is not just about the coaching, it's about my own inner work, and kind of leaning into some of that personal, my mindset of how I'm kind of viewing these sessions, or the things that are showing up in my life that are making me believe that that was a shitty session. I'm able to kind of take a little bit of time now, and I've locked it down on the calendar. I do a post-mortem every day that I do coaching to kind of sit down and reflect and get rid of all the junk that shows up along the way, and lean into the truth, what actually happened in my session.
Oh my God. I love that. A postmortem. I love that. That is brilliant. What about you, Amy? What has surprised you the most?
The thing that surprised me the most is ironically about me, and that I feel so much joy after a coaching session. Like the energy and the I am sometimes that person that everyone calls when they're having a terrible day, and when something's going wrong, and when and like I said, I always had advice, I always had something to do, but I've had to really work in the past couple years to cut some boundaries so that I'm not attracting all the negative all the time. And what the difference with coaching is that it's not about me holding that negative energy. It's about finding the positive within that coaching hour, and really finding out how we can work through whatever my client wants to work through at the moment. And when I listen, it's usually not what I walked into. Like what I walked into the coaching session thinking we were going to talk about. Like I asked somebody the other day they're going through high anxiety, just found out she has breast cancer. And I thought we were going to talk about all those things, and we talked a little bit about how the past week was, and how she handled things and some of the things she was practicing based on our last conversation. But she said, I want to work on joy. And I didn't expect that. So that's the biggest surprise to me, is just the how it becomes fluid, and you don't have to know all the things. I go in prepared with some thoughts on it, but honestly, like it just rolls, and it's just an amazing thing. That's the biggest surprise to me, is I walk away and I'm like on fire, because it's just so amazing.
I 100% agree. Like after our calls, and actually all my client calls for the most part, but like yesterday after our call, I was literally it's like I had just drank like a huge pot of coffee and had so much energy and could like conquer the world. And it's from your client. Like it's that energy exchange, but it's hard to put into words the way it feels, but it is I agree with you. Such an amazing feeling. And so I'm curious about one thing, Amy. So, because this is, I think, really important for people to hear, is that you can come prepared. And I don't not suggest that, but I agree. I come prepared, and I would say 99% of the time, we do not talk about what I came prepared with. The client has something that they come with, or I ask a question and it evolves into something totally different. And for you, and I think that's a big fear for a lot of people, actually, is that their client's going to come with something and they won't know how to handle it. What do you think has enabled you to be able to kind of embrace that fluidity?
So the first is just I think a genetic thing, in that I am a fly by my seat of the pants kind of gal, that, you call me in the 11th hour, which, and I'm there, like I figure it out, and I don't have anxiety leading up to things like that. But I think the other is, I think the other thing is just having the confidence to go in and know that you can just learn it along the way. I see so many people whether they're starting a business or they're diving into something new. I mean, when I invented a product, I knew nothing, nothing. So I went to the library and I joined like a group, and I taught myself every single thing that I needed to know along the way. I failed. I didn't care, because I was more passionate about doing it than I was about failing. And I think you just have to go into it with I can do this, I can learn this. I mean, I have no problem. Like, if someone had something that they would bring up in coaching, I would have zero problem saying, you know what, I need to think about this. Like, let's just have a quiet moment and think about this, and we'll address this later, or journal about it. And then you don't have to know it. You just have to be there and hold that space and guide.
Oh my God, so good, Amy. And I think it's so true, is like, and kind of as Eden was saying too, it's like our own heads. And that's why so much of the coaching is actually your own coaching too, right? Because your clients will trigger you. Your clients will bring up your own shit. But I love that you said it's really just the willingness to explore, to try things out, and to be willing to not know, and not to make a big deal out of it, and not to make it into a problem. So amazing. So if there was something that you ladies wish you had known before you got started, what would it have been that now you do know?
I'm going to piggyback off of what y'all were just saying a little bit about some of that inner work, because I think the thing that I wish I had known is that it was going to be a little more about my own inner work, and that really kind of stepping into coaching on my own and being a business owner, that it's really a catalyst for your own personal growth. And it's just been really incredible how much I've been able to work on myself through it, and how much of a difference that tweaks to myself and really caring for my inner self has made a huge difference in how I show up for my business, for my clients, and being able to just maintain a little bit of that better headspace, because I'm not taking care of myself, right?
Yes. Oh my God. So good, Eden. So I am curious, how has that impacted, like trickled in? Because I don't know if people always know this, but like, I know for me, it trickled into my personal life in ways that I could have never imagined. Is there anything for you that it's trickled into your personal life where you could be like, I am so grateful for that?
Absolutely. I think in some ways it has allowed me to communicate a little bit better, in particular with my husband and my kiddo, being able to kind of like check in with myself of, why am I feeling this way right now? Is it them, or is it my perception of things, right? And being able to kind of sit with myself on that. I also think it's given me a little bit more of that when I do feel overwhelmed, maybe like I'm going to start busting at the seams from something that happens. I'm able to, okay, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go sit down. I'm going to do some breathing, and I'm going to check in with myself. And that's just a little bit more of that intentional mindfulness throughout my day that is having such small little really positive impacts on just the general kind of functioning and the vibe that I walk into each day.
I love that. Oh yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Same thing. Very similar for myself. Is just, it's not like this massive thing, but it's those small incremental shifts that compound, right? They can make a pretty big impact. So Amy, what about for you? What's something that you wish maybe you had known that now you do?
Oh gosh. I think probably I wish I had known the whole process years ago,
Right?
because Right, because and like as you said, when you're going through the coaching and you're learning, the models and the ideas and the different things of coaching, I mean, the only way that you're going to be a great coach is if you're actually doing the work yourself. And so
Hold on, pause for a minute, Amy. Say that again so everyone can hear it.
The only way that you are going to be a great coach is to practice it yourself on yourself.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Because a lot of coaches are 100% out of integrity. I'm just going to call you on your bullshit right now. Anyone who's listening right now, if I triggered the fuck out of you, I'm sorry. It's the truth. Okay, sorry.
Well,
Didn't mean to interrupt you, but keep going, Amy.
No. Well, it's really interesting. We had our Monday night, class with everybody, and we're still really just getting to know everybody and exploring, and we did this deep session kind of with each other, and I had the choice of picking something. It didn't matter if it was something that was a negative influence or something that was whatever. And, there's a part of me that wants to do, oh, this is the learning experience that I learned that made me the person I am. But let's pick something that is maybe still, in my head as a story. And so it's been really amazing to be around everybody and to, I'm going to get emotional, to be able to open up with people that are your peers and that accept you, for who you are. We all have our own stories, and we're all here coaching because we want to help other people in the same way that these models and things have helped us. And so it's just, that's the biggest surprise to me is just the love that has come within the class, and it's still growing. I mean, it's, for me to open up to everybody is not something that I normally do because I fix it all. I do it all. I'm fine. Right.
I'm fine.
And so, yeah. So that's been the biggest takeaway is just the support, just me personally, and then also to be better as a coach.
Oh, I really want to just that is just so beautiful because honestly, I might get emotional too, but part of the whole reason
cry together.
We can all cry together. So part of the reason I wanted to create a container like this is because I do believe so much in vulnerability. Obviously, if anyone who follows me, I share everything. My husband says too much, but whatever. And I wanted to create a safe space for people to feel like they could be vulnerable. Because I think when we allow vulnerability into our lives, that is when we are able to hold space for more vulnerability. It's like a compounding effect. And I actually think vulnerability, as Brene Brown says it, I mean, I'm going to mutilate any of her quotes because I don't remember, but it is really the key to an amazing life, right? She didn't say that, but whatever. She's the one who I feel like coined vulnerability, right? And for me, hearing you now say that is holy shit, that's amazing. And I feel that in this group, there is no job. I mean, it's really, seriously, people, it's an amazing group. I love that. Oh yeah. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. I'm rarely speechless too, Amy. You got me. So I'll just say, because, I was saying to the ladies, I don't like the podcast to go on and on. I mean, I could talk for hours. Anyone who knows me knows that. But so if there's something, that you would want people to know, right? A takeaway, maybe either from the program or starting out as a coach, but something maybe they're on the fence right now and they're just not sure if this is for them. They have a pull, or maybe they're already coaching. We have people in the group, right? It's I love the variety. We have coaches that are Amy and Eden who are just getting started. And then we have coaches like Charmaine and Emily who have been coaching for years, because I mean, I really believe as a coach, you're always going to be working on your skills. You're always room for up level and growth, because the more you up level and grow, you have the ability to help your clients, right? Just continue to grow. Anyways, my philosophy. So, but for you ladies, I'm curious, for that person who is listening right now, who's kind of on the fence? What do they need? What do you want them to know? Or what do you feel like they need to hear that could maybe help them?
I think that they need to hear that they have permission to fuck up and still succeed, right? Because that shift in
Yes.
perspective of what failing actually is, failing isn't actually failing. Failing is learning. It's an opportunity to love on yourself. It's an opportunity to grow. And if you can kind of shift out of that headspace, it's going to make a world of a difference, right? Let go of what it is you think you should or have to do. Start listening to what you want to do, because this is your story. This is your journey, your business. There's no right way.
Oh my God. Yes. 100%. Amy, what are your thoughts?
So I agree with that like 1,000%, because so what's really, I just have to say this. So, I jumped in. Money was an issue for me in the beginning because it was just like, at the moment was not a operable time, because I had, I just made a big down payment on a vacation place and, whatever. So, but if you feel the calling, figure it out, because you're just saying no to yourself as a coach if you're not jumping in, is my thought on it. So that's why I said, yes, I'm doing it. I'll figure it out. And it's done. And then the second thing is, I had no idea what Dharma was. So I was doing this on blind faith. My friend was like, you need to join Rachel's class. She's amazing. And I feel like this is good. And I'm like, okay, I'm in, right? So I was like all doing it because of my friend Dee, if she's listening. And it was like
Dee.
blind faith. Yeah. So I was like Googling, what the hell is Dharma, right? And it turns out that Dharma is like so amazing, and it's really what this whole thing is like based on, along with all the coaching and everything. And so getting to the Dharma, like, I believe that we all are put here for a purpose, and that we are all here with our purpose to be able to help others and in whatever way that is. And so if you don't jump in, if you know that you have a calling for this, and if you know that this is something that you would be good at, or you think you would be good at, and if you think you would, you will. It's just your brain telling you no.
That's
right?
right.
Like, and that, you owe it to yourself and to the world to like just dive in, because trust me, like, you go through your 30s of like, you're raising your kids, and 40s of, okay, my kids are older. Who am I? What am I doing? Where am I going? You get into 50s and you're like, oh my God, I'm stuck with my husband for the rest of my life. Where are my kids? They're all right. They're all,
I love it. I'm stuck
the
with
kids
them.
are in college, and then, and I do not say this, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I just turned 60, and I'm like, who am I? Like, I started like 50, like 3 years ago, I started like, where am I going? What am I doing? And, this is it. Like this, I know that this is the next journey that I have to do for myself and also for my future. And so just do it.
Just do it. Oh my God. And actually, Amy, I want you to shout it from the rooftops. I'm fucking 60 years old and I'm starting a new chapter.
Oh, I have big things to do. Like,
yeah, like
big
it's never
things to do.
Like, I want someone who's listening right now to hear that. Like, I hear people be like, oh, I'm 40. I'm like, so fucking what? Like, are you dead? Because I don't think so. Right. Like, or I even hear 20-year-olds who are like, well, but it's not what I went to college for. I'm like, yeah, who cares? It's not really what college is about, in my opinion. College is about my son is going to be going to college. I'm like, it's about learning how to be independent. Like, just go to have a good time. Really expensive good time. Got lots of thoughts on that.
Yes.
But yeah, just do it. I love that. And you're never too old. You're never too anything to follow your Dharma. Right. And if anyone is listening who's like thinking, what the fuck is Dharma? It is literally, the word Dharma comes from the yogic tradition of following your God-given path. So it's the belief, kind of what Amy was alluding to, that we are all given like almost like a purpose that we're supposed to live out. And it's just our job to tap into it and then live it out. And if you don't in this lifetime, the yogis believe, well, then you come back and you do it in another lifetime. But I think it's so often sad that a lot of people have a calling, have something that they know they want to do, but the fear, as we were talking about, of failing keeps them. It stops them.
So my strongest fear, and I had it 20 years ago, and then I had it 3 years ago, where it was like almost debilitating. Like, my biggest fear is getting to the end of my life and not have done what my brain has imagined, what my brain has dreamt of, what I would love to see in my life. And at 57, I was like, oh my God, you know,
Right.
I
It's time to get on it
a little bit, you know, like I'm planning on living to 100, but I might not be able to climb that mountain. And so, you know, but it's sad that it took me till 57 to even do some of that. And again, I did it 20 years ago with my invention and all that type of thing. But, you know, your life evolves, and
That's right.
and you get complacent. And if you want to coach, just do it, because why not?
Yes. Just fucking do it. I love that. Okay. So I want you guys both to just share, if someone's listening right now, Eden, if someone's listening, they've lost a parent and they could use some support, I want them to know where they can find you. Amy, if they're at that phase in their life where they're ready for what's next and they are moving in that direction, I want them to be able to find you. So share all your information. I'll make sure to put it in the show notes. And then if you have one last quick little second of something you want to leave us with.
Perfect. Well, they can find me. It's Evermore, EverMore, healing.com. New website, exciting. Or Eden at evermorehealing.com is the email. And my final words are, you're worth it. You're worth the investment financially. You're worth your own time. And you can do it, right? The only thing holding you back is you.
Love that. Oh, yes, 100% you're worth it. And Amy, share us, give us your info.
Okay, so easiest way to find me, and I have not been on there a lot, and I'm clearly going to be stepping it up after this podcast. But hello, Amy Moeller at Instagram. That's my Hello Amy Moeller is my thing. I will have, if you go on there, I will have a landing page up within 2 weeks. I am going to start
Awesome.
for anybody who's looking at doing the becoming an organized person. Like, I have this big belief that that it's really helpful to have an organized home and life in order to be able to focus on some other big what's next things. And so as I am doing my journey, I'm going to be doing a what's next organization little thing going on. So stay tuned for that. It's a work in progress. So, but you know, it'll be fun, it'll be free, and it'll be something that we can all do together.
Awesome. I love that. I can't wait to see it. Okay, ladies, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here, sharing your wisdom, your inspiration to my audience. I love you both. I'm honored to be in your corner. Yeah. All right, my friends. Yes.
Thank you.
Course. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful week, and we'll be back next week with another great episode. Bye, all. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of The Wellness Boss. If you want to learn more about my work, come visit me at rachelbethcoaching.com. That's Rachel minus the extra A, bethcoaching.com. I hope you have the most fantastic week. Don't forget to subscribe and review and to share this podcast with all your friends. See you next week. Namaste.